Second.
Any questions or discussion?
I would like to remove one item from the agenda. That'll be the budget amendment number 5 under finance and operations. We were able to move that without needing a budget amendment. So, that's what we need.
Wait, what number?
Number 5 under finance and operations.
Thank you.
All right, so all those in favor of approving the agenda with the one line item that Dr. Penland has requested to come off under Finance and Operations number 5, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. I want to welcome everyone tonight, and we are going to start with our Tell Me Something Good. And I'm going to start over here with Ms. Kit.
Thank you. So I would just like to say that I appreciate all the people who reached out to us board members in the last month. We've received a lot of emails, phone calls, text messages, and it really shows how much people are committed to getting the best for these students.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
So this semester, or this year, I've had 3 kids in college. Of those 3, 2 will be graduating on May the 8th, and 1 finished his first year at Clemson, and so I'm excited that they'll be home this week and next week. So it's an exciting time for the Jenkins home.
Great. Mr. Carpenter?
God is good all the time.
Amen.
Trust in Him and you won't go wrong.
Amen. to that.
Amen. My Tell Me Something Good is I get to go to Winthrop tomorrow to pick up Kennedy and bring her home for the summer. So,
Not something good will be I'll stay with my son, and he just got engaged to his long-term girlfriend, so we'll be planning a wedding soon.
congratulations. Congrats.
Like Anthony, God is good. I have a professional kickboxer, my grandson. He won his bout. Well, it was a split decision, but he's a pro kickboxer. And he was with me this weekend. He came Saturday and left today at 1 o'clock.
That's fantastic.
My something good is my daughter. She is a basketball player, so we get to spend our weekends traveling, watching basketball. And her basketball team won the Raiders Classic for the middle school girls. They were the championship winners this weekend for that tournament. So proud of them.
Congrats.
My something good is I got to spend a couple hours out at Hickory Tavern last Monday with my grandkids, getting the orientation for kindergarten, and Jennifer and her staff do a marvelous job. That's just a class act. And I left there with 2 thoughts. My grandkids are in great hands, and was I ever small enough to sit in a kindergarten chair? I don't believe it.
All right, well, welcome to everyone tonight. And now I'm going to allow Coach Compton to introduce our LDHS student that will lead us in the pledge.
Thank you very much. Tonight we have our student body president, Mary Ellis Power, that will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ellis. And now, Ms. Nance, will you lead us in prayer?
Yes, let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come this afternoon, Lord God, thanking you for all your loving kindness and your grace and your mercy that you show towards each and every one of us. Father God, we ask that your presence be here this afternoon in this board meeting. Lord God, give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make the decisions that have to be made. Just continue, Lord God, to bless District 55. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Now we need approval for our March 23rd work session and board meeting. We could get a motion for that.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving our minutes for the March 23rd work session and board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. And now I'll hand it back over to Coach Compton for our LDHS report.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight to share the good things going on at Lawrence High School. You know, in this day and age we hear, seems like a lot of negative chatter we hear in the community and in society in general. But I really I'm just excited to be here to be able to talk to you tonight about a lot of the good things that we've got going on at Lawrence High School and just sort of to recap where we at for this, have been this school year. Again, we will start with, we're anchored in the 5 A's of accountability: academics, arts, athletics, and attendance. And make sure that we attend to these things each day as we go through our commitment to our students and staff. At Lawrence, let's just sort of to refocus our North Star. Our mission isn't just a slogan, it's a commitment, you know, to equip our students with the tools necessary to be successful in life. You know, as you will see moving forward in this presentation, our data in several areas indicate that, you know, that's sort of that's exactly where we're going. And we're measuring up to the best of the standard. Now, we're not there everywhere by any means, but that is our standard. That's what we're shooting for every day. And I think we want to be the best. And knowing that we're not there, but we're going to keep working and we'll get there. At Lawrence High School, our goals this year to create and to maintain and grow a positive school culture and climate. To me, you start with that because that's what it's all about. It's a place where students and staff can come to work, come to school, and feel good about being there. And that's really at the top of our list of every day of maintaining and growing that school environment. Growth on our ELC, a 10% growth, and 10% growth in our college and career readiness. Those are our goals that we've been working on as well. Now, they're lofty goals. They're tough. They're going to be tough to get there. But again, you set the bar high, and maybe you keep striving for that high bar, and we'll work to get there and grow more than setting a low bar. So that's what we're working at. And as we talk about our goals, and we'll go through this, I mean, you're talking about something good to say, Ms. Little. What I've got good to say is the folks I work with, my teachers and my staff, assistant principals, I'm blessed. I mean, we got good folks there, and that's my good shout out, is the folks that we work with every day, that I come to work with every day. It's just a good place. I enjoy being there, and I hope they do too, because they do a great job and they work hard. They work very hard, and we want our results to show it, you know. And so that's sort of working with our different departments here at the district office to get those results that we want. Lawrence from a different perspective. From the moment you walk on campus, you can feel the energy, the pride, and the tradition. Here, you're more than just a student. You're part of a community that pushes you to be your best. With a wide range of classes from honors and AP to dual enrollment and career-focused courses, you're given real choices for your future. In the classroom, you're challenged, supported, and prepared for what comes next. Whether your path is college, a career, or military, you'll find opportunities that help you get there. Outside the classroom, Raider pride comes to life. On the field, on the court, and in every competition, our students show what it means to be a Raider. But it's more than athletics. It's friendships, it's leadership, and memories that last a lifetime. This is a place where you can find what you love and become who you're meant to be. At Lawrence District 55 High School, you don't just go to school. You belong, you grow, you succeed. Once a Raider, always a Raider. This is LDHS. So just give a little bit of different perspective of the high school and just a different look. I thought that would be very good. Again, we want to grow the positive culture. This was day one, welcoming our ninth graders on campus just outside the Y building. It was a rainy day, but we had our students out there and trying to get those ninth graders, because I know as parents and ninth graders, that's a nervous time. Well, they come in on this big campus and they're going to get lost, but we have a really good group of students to bring them in and welcome them and to make them feel at home, and that's a place where they're going to be for the next 4 years. Again, some of the activities that's going on around campus, whether it be our unified PE to ROTC. In the middle there, you see the interviews we had last week with our mock crash simulation for prom, and then just celebrating student heritage and culture, and our orchestra pictures there. And there's some pictures, top left, celebrating with boots on the ground. As they're dancing at lunch, and our kids really enjoyed that. And then you got some guy with a helmet on because he's a crash dummy from time to time in the middle there. And then Mookie Wilson in the top right-hand corner played for the Mets. It was the World Series, played in the World Series, spoke at our Black History program, and there he is talking to our baseball team. And then just some pictures of student activities at football and Halloween and different times throughout the year. Our teacher, our induction teacher, and our support staff of the year, Ms. Dumati on the left, Ms. Reynoso in the middle, and Willie Johnson on the right was our winners of this year. Very deserving. We had, we had lots of folks that deserve those. And it's sort of hard to teachers when we come up with a selection and then the teachers make their final votes and cast the ballots, but they made great choices. These folks work so hard for us every day. Now, looking at some of our EOC trend data, just a couple of highlights. And I think one thing that jumps out at you, say Algebra 1 for the fall, and the column on the left there said none tested. What in the world's going on there? Well, we didn't just leave them out. As you know, but just as a reminder, we're transitioning to Algebra 1 in the 10th grade. So this year, 9th graders and 10th graders, everybody took geometry. And so we'll have a lot of scores next year in Algebra 1, but this year we will have a few in the spring testing, so we'll get maybe, I think it's about 20, 25 that'll be testing. But as you can see, our scores are improving for the most part. Our early performance, strong performance in English 2, consistency and some stability and literacy there. U.S. history had a growth. Now, biology and Algebra 1, we still have opportunities for growth there, and there's still some areas we're working on. Our college and career ready, that's coming. We feel very confident that we're going to grow that 56% from last year, hopefully 9 to 10 points. I don't want to put it in writing there, but just our projections and what we're working on, we're feeling really good about that. And then our grad rate will remain strong as well. Now, one of the things we always talk about, growing students, we hear that term all the time, grow these students, grow these students. Well, I got to thinking, we look at these EOC scores, like, man, I wish that math I wish it was stronger, and our teachers are working hard. But what about where have we grown those students? Did we grow them from middle school to high school? Did we grow them? So as we look at the next slide, we're going to see some growth from middle school to high school. Because if you're looking at, we've got the English 2 and the Algebra 1 scores with the high school EOCs, and then the 8th grade SC Ready and MAP and 7th grade SC Ready. And you can see a trend of growth of those same students. So the English 2 students are our current juniors, and our Algebra 1 students are our current sophomores. So there has been growth from their middle school EOC, middle school South Carolina Ready scores on what they did in the EOC. So even though our scores may reflect lower compared to state, we are growing the same group of students in that cohort. So as we continue to build that in the lower grades, we'll continue to move them forward at the high school. So that's just a transition growth that I thought it would be interesting to look at. Then looking also some of our key growth areas on our report card, our graduation rate moved from average to good, and our high school student success, this is their own track throughout the 9th, 10th, 11th grade. It was from average to good. Our C, college and career readiness, was from below average to average, and that's sort of a baseline growth, and we certainly don't want to be below average. So we're glad to get it at that baseline of average, and now we're looking to move those two even higher. I think the school climate from below to average shows a stabilization in our school, and that will allow a good foundation for growth next year. Now, we look at some of these performance areas. So what has gotten us there? What have we been doing to get us there? Well, the data shows, but we want to look at our collective leadership. This is our ILT, which is our instructional leadership team. We meet every Wednesday morning at 7. And then our clusters, or our teachers, where our teachers work with our master teachers on Thursdays, and just working those together where our math teachers are meeting with math teachers. We've got common planning where we have teachers of likes, math meets with math, science with science, history with history, and so on. And it allows them a good foundation to talk together, to get work, to make lesson plans together, and work to not just to have a consistent instruction across the board. It's not just a meeting, it's a space where teachers can really work together. The point number 2 there, the evidence-based pedagogy, is really, I want to thank our teaching and learning has brought John Hattie's work of visible learning, of establishing, letting students know and working with our teachers, of students know what exactly why they're learning, what they're learning, and what the success looks like. I think when students know what it is, what I have to be successful, that gives them a clear path. They know what they have to do. And then a shout out to our instructional coaches, Ms. McLennan and Mr. Elliott, that are working during our clusters, working on focusing has been on teacher clarity, making sure our students know what they're learning and why they're learning it, the learning targets, and what that success criteria is. Ms. McLennan has worked with our English teachers very closely, especially our new teachers, to build some capacity with those teachers, and Mr. Elliott working with our U.S. History EOCs. And finally, our data-driven, our common assessments. This is something we work toward of our teachers, especially in our EOC classes, giving common assessments so that we can compare students and see what standards we're strong in and what areas we're not as strong in, what areas do we need to get better at. And so that is something we've really been working hard for, is putting all these components to get there. Now, as we look at some of these pictures and some of this in action of teachers working, of students working collaboratively together, the girl in the top row with a salute, that was a station in a U.S. history class where students they were doing a World War II unit on the home front, and they actually had uniforms, original World War II uniforms that they could try on. She had some shirts and the military jacket, all these things of really bringing it to life and bringing hands-on. Now, at the high school, let's be honest, working in groups and working hands-on, sometimes we're working to get better at, rather than having students more engaged, and that's something that we work on in the high school very much so, is trying to make sure that we have our students engaged, and we continue to work to make that better. So, excuse me, I jumped ahead one too fast. Sorry about that. So this is a great visual of what we're going. Now, the next thing I'm excited about is we've got our ILTs, and we've got our clusters, and we've got our visible learning, and then our proof, our common assessments. And what I'm really excited about moving forward next year is the idea of this, that we can create a culture of high expectations, and we have a terrific opportunity to do that through Leader in Me. In the fall, we sent a group to North Henderson High School in Hendersonville, North Carolina, to look at the process of Leader in Me. And we've heard about it being in elementary and middle schools, but didn't know how it worked in high school. So we went to North Henderson High School and just really impressed with their teachers and their students and what they had to say about building the capacity of leadership in their students, but not only in the students, but what it also brought to their staff as well. We sent a second group back in the spring and from our high school to North Henderson, and they came back with much of the same impressiveness of how this could benefit us. And so this is really what we want to do, is to next year we will begin implementing Leader in Me. And what sort of caught my attention about it, it wasn't something in a box that's a canned program that we're going to do this and it's going to work perfectly. Go slow to go fast, and that's what they've told us. Go slow to go fast, and that's what really caught me, because I've been around education a long time and I've seen a lot of things come and go, and you know, I got to really see this. But I really truly believe this is going to be something great for not only for our students but our staff next year if we embrace this. I've got a short little video next. It's just 1 minute about Leader in Me.
Now leadership shows up in daily decisions, especially in schools. Schools are carrying more responsibility than ever. And as schools achieving meaningful gains, both academically and culturally, understand something essential. Developing leaders isn't an add-on to the work of education. It's the foundation everything else is built on. Because when adults lead with clarity and shared purpose, teachers stay engaged, students take ownership of their learning, and academic priorities stay front and center. Great schools don't wait for leadership to emerge. They develop it, intentionally, in educators first, and then in every classroom they touch. This doesn't come from adding one more initiative. It comes from embedding leadership into how school works every day, into the culture students experience, the way educators teach, and the way learning happens across the school. That's what Franklin Covey Education's Leader in Me provides. So when we ask, where are all the great leaders? The answer isn't someday or somewhere else. They're being built, right now, in schools, by leaders who build leaders.
And what sort of jumped out at me is, again, is go slow. Next year will be, it will be all about building our staff capacity. A whole year of training our teachers to be able to bring this to our students. Not just something we're going to throw out there and do it quick. It's something that they prepare us, and it's about the process. It's building that capacity for our staff so that we can implement that to our students, and building capacity, and it's the process with the student ownership and then the academic success that will come following that. Now, going back to some of our highlights from this year at Lawrence High School, our winter graduation. This is our 7th annual winter graduation. We began with 6 students in 2018, and up to 69 this winter. We continue our strong partnership with local colleges and universities with our dual enrollment programs through Piedmont Tech, USC Union, and Lander in maintaining a good relationship, and our dual enrollment numbers continue to grow and are strong. And that's great for our student body to have those opportunities to achieve college credit, before they get out of high school. Also, our student achievement as well with our academic success of students that are scoring well on the ASVAB, ROTC students that are enlisting in the United States military, our academic letters, students who received academic letters, 325 this year, and then our Beta Club and our Honor Society continue to be integral parts of our school and continuing to grow those organizations. Other student achievement is our symphony, our band, our orchestra, and they do a wonderful job. Any events that we have, they are just performing and they do great. And if you've had the opportunity to come see these young people, it's really, I'm telling you, it's really blow you away how really good they can perform and things they can do. I'm just amazed all the time, and I love to see what they can do. Our bass anglers continue to be strong. We have 2 anglers that will qualify for the BAS National Tournament coming up. Our student council is a strong part of LDHS and strong part of our culture and building our student excellence. Our Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy continues to grow each year with Ms. Hunter leadership there. Also, our FFA program, Anna Barrett Penland and Davis Simpson were FFA and Lawrence County Spotlight Agriculture Students of the Year. And then our fall sports. I want to take this for just a moment to thank Tommy Spires, our athletic director. You're talking about a job. He and I talk about Lawrence High School is the place where the lights are never turned out. It seems like there's an event every night. We're always say, we're off tonight. No, we got a game tonight. We got a match tonight. So it is a constant revolving door. But as you know, athletics is really, it can be the front porch to the school. We have so many community participation in athletics and so many of our students that participate. And I want to thank Dr. Harris and Dr. Penland and the board. Thank you for your support of growing our facilities, because that's something we continue to work on and continue to get. We want to do the best we can with what we got and take care of it. And I want to just tell you that Coach Spires does the best job to take care of what we got of anybody out. He works hard, so I just want you to know that. He works extremely hard to maintain and keep our athletics moving in the right direction. But you can see we're successful with all region athletes in football, volleyball, cheer, tennis, and cross country in the fall. Our all region winter sports athletes with basketball, with our boys and girls basketball team, and our wrestling. Our basketball team had a very successful year, came very close to winning the region for the first time in quite a number of years, but had a great season, very proud and excited for what they've got coming forward and going forward next year. And then our spring sports is sort of coming to conclusion at this time, but we did have one region champion. Our boys tennis team was our region champion for the second year in a row, and it had taken 52 years to get a region champion in boys tennis, and we get it 2 years in a row. And I said, I'm the principal there, let's remember that. Tell everybody we become in tennis school. But we are excited about what they've accomplished. I'm very proud of those guys. And they will be playing Southside tomorrow. If you have a chance, come out. And then on Thursday, they have a home match as well. And then we had another back-to-back champion, and that is our robotics team. They won the state championship, and when we're partnered with Fountain Inn High School in our robotics 4451 garage, and that they got the ones we could bring it in here, and that thing would be shooting balls all over in here. And it's amazing what these guys can work on. These little robots, they run around this competing with one another and bumping. But it really is something to see, and they really put a lot of work into what they do. It's very complicated, it's way above my head. But we're proud of them anyway. But they're leaving in the morning to go to Houston to compete in the world finals. So we'll have to sort of track and see how they do it and wish them well there. And education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. And this quote really captures the heart of the work happening in our school. Everything we've shared, from academic data to leadership development through Leader in Me, to our focus on growth and collaboration, is more than just test scores. Now, I know that's important. Trust me, I love to score points, whether it's on EOC scores, whether it's on the football field, basketball, wherever we're at. I want to win, and we're working to win in every area. But at the same time, it has to be more than just a score. It's got to be. And it's about igniting something in our students, something inside, some kind of fire inside of them that's going to burn through life. And we're focused on building students who take ownership, who can think critically, who can lead, and who are prepared for life beyond high school. Because isn't that what it's about? Being prepared for life. And we might not get everything, but we want to do that. We want to prepare, whether it's college, or career, or military. That's what we want to do. We want to prepare our students for life after high school. Our data shows progress, and we've got systems in place that are aligning, coming together, and most importantly, our students are growing. I really want to thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate all y'all do. You've got a tough job. Thank you for your support and your commitment to our students. Thank y'all very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Coach Compton. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let me say, Coach
Yes.
Compton,
Yes.
because this is something I always stress. We talk about the wrong things, and I think tonight you hit it on the head. You recognize your teachers, your staff, you recognize your students. You talk about what you're doing to move forward. That's important, because we as a board, that's what we need to know. You know, we don't need to know every little other thing.
Right.
But small minds talk about small things. Big minds talk about things that's moving. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Now we will move on to public participation. We did have several people sign up, so I'm going to go ahead and read our statement from the board policy. Individuals who submitted the required form for the public participation portion of the meeting are strongly encouraged to maintain appropriate decorum while addressing the board. Please remember that this is a meeting of a public school board and children may either be in attendance or watching via live stream. Please use appropriate language reflecting the nature of the meeting and its audience. Pursuant to Board Policy BEDH, speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any public session, any expression of personal complaints about school personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. So each person will have 3 minutes to speak. I'm going to let Dr. Penland handle the timer. It normally will count down like 5 seconds or something, and then you'll have 3 minutes from there. So I'm going to go in the order in which the documents were received. So first up is Ms. Miller.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight about the future of Montessori in our district and the role it could play in strengthening both our schools and our community. Tonight I'd like to present a thoughtful pathway for structuring our upper-level Montessori program, along with a clear vision to where we can go over the next year. Beyond that, our goal is to intentionally grow the program over the next 3 to 5 years through a strategic plan that includes all stakeholders. By building strong partnerships and prioritizing Montessori through long-term planning, we can increase program fidelity, ensure sustainability, and establish Montessori as a true community asset. We recognize that several ideas have been discussed, largely due to the time constraints surrounding a potential vote. Over the past month, the Montessori Planning Committee, which many of them are here with us tonight, has met to thoughtfully consider what Montessori should look like in Lawrence 55. This group included current teachers and instructional coaches, retired Montessori educators, Montessori teacher trainers, and parents. Through these conversations, the committee reached a consensus grounded in authentic Montessori pedagogy and aligned with its core principles. The committee proposes that Montessori 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students remain together as a true 3-year upper elementary band. If reconfiguration occurs, these classrooms will be located at Sanders, with the 3 trained upper elementary teachers transitioning there. This structure preserves the integrity of the Montessori model and supports students ages 9 to 12, who benefit from stability, leadership opportunities, and continuity within a multi-year learning environment. At the same time, Montessori 7th and 8th grade students will remain at Lawrence Middle School. Teachers at Lawrence Middle School have expressed a strong interest in receiving Montessori training, which would allow us to continue building a meaningful Montessori experience at the middle school level, especially those who are not honors track. This approach balances fidelity to the Montessori model with a practical pathway for program growth. In your packet, you'll find an outline of 3 primary goals for the Montessori program, as well as the beginning of a 3 to 5 year plan developed by the Montessori Planning Committee. These initial steps are designed to guide our work during the 26-27 school year and lay the foundation for long-term successes. In closing, this work is not simply about grade reconfigurations or program placement. It's about building a Montessori program that is authentic, sustainable, and worthy of our students and community. By moving forward with intentional planning and shared commitment, we have the opportunity to create something that not only serves our current students well, but also attracts families, strengthens our schools, and sets a clear direction for the future of Montessori in Lawrence 55. Montessori gives us that opportunity, and with thoughtful collaboration, we can ensure it becomes a lasting asset for our district.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Our next speaker is Mr. Hitt.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Frank Hitt. I want to first thank the board for letting me have the opportunity to speak here today. I am the father of 2 children, a girl and a boy, that are both currently enrolled in the Montessori educational program at E.B. Morris Elementary School. Both of my children has and continue to excel in this program. The proof is in their ability to create projects on their own, see them completed while at a young age without adult supervision. This educational process has been transferred to their home life. My daughter Haley has written several short stories of 20 pages or more with intricate details and illustrations, while George, my son, explores the wonders of the universe and his infatuation with numbers. The best proof is in their math testing scores. Both continue to score well above the standard goals. Both are currently doing work well above their goal level. I think and feel that traditional classrooms would hold them back and greatly restrict their ability to advance in their educational goals. The Montessori educational program at E.B. Morse focuses on independence, hands-on, and child-led exploration in multiple age classrooms. I was educated in traditional classrooms, which I feel limited my education. So when it was brought to my attention that E.B. Morse has a Montessori educational program, I did not hesitate for one moment and enrolled both of my children in the Montessori program at E.B. Morse. I did so knowing that it was going to be a big inconvenience to the entire family. I get up at 4:30 every school day to prepare breakfast, lunch, and get the children dressed for school. We live approximately 20 miles from E.B. Morse Elementary, so transporting the children to and from the school is a huge task in itself. The entire family is willing to do with inconvenience and sacrifices to ensure that the children can be educated through the Montessori program at E.B. Morse. Montessori educational programs are not offered at most schools. This means that some families go the extra mile, so to speak, if they want their children to be educated in the Montessori program. I ask the question, what price do we put on education? To what expense is a parent willing to endure to ensure their child or children are educated in the best possible way? An education lasts a lifetime and in the past on to the next generation. This is why I am willing to go the extra mile to make the sacrifices and endure the inconveniences so that I can ensure that my children are educated in the Montessori program at E.B. Morse. In closing, it is my wish that my children have the opportunity to continue to be educated in a multiple age student-led classroom such as the Montessori educational program. It is also my wish that the Montessori educational program be extended and offered throughout their high school years. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Head.
A father or two.
Thank you.
By the way, Mr. Head, I appreciate your cursive writing on your, a lot of our students wouldn't even be able to read it.
It was hard for me. No.
Thank you for sharing.
We did have one speaker, Ms. McDowell, who was not feeling well today, so she was not able to come. However, she did send the board an email, and I forwarded that to you guys. So our next speaker will be Ms. Noble.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was part of Lawrence District 55's second group of teachers trained as Montessori guides. Montessori is not simply a set of materials. It's a complex, research-based method rooted in human development. To be effective, it cannot be diluted or blended with unrelated practices. Authentic Montessori requires educators who have undergone rigorous, specialized training and who understand how to guide students in this unique environment. Leading pediatric neuropsychologists describe Montessori as the original brain-based method of learning because it activates key areas of cognitive development. Research supports this. A study by the Riley Institute at Furman University found that South Carolina public Montessori students outperformed similar peers in traditional classrooms, not only in academics like English language, arts, math, and social studies, but also in creativity, attendance, and social responsibility. These outcomes only happen when Montessori is implemented with fidelity. If District 55 wants to rebuild a strong Montessori program like the one it had 20 years ago, accredited training is essential. Even experienced teachers cannot successfully manage a Montessori classroom without this preparation. Without it, programs begin to drift, what I would call Monte-something, where the method is no longer authentic and results decline. the cost of failure is high. Wasted materials, high teacher turnover, and poor student outcomes. On the other hand, investing in accredited training is risk mitigation. It ensures that your investment in materials and programs actually delivers results. What can be done? First, require all Montessori teachers to begin MACD accredited training before leading a classroom. Second, provide ongoing education for administrators, support staff, and paraprofessionals. Without understanding and buy-in at every level, even strong classrooms can struggle. Third, engage parents and the community through regular education programs so that they understand and support the Montessori approach. Finally, build sustainability by using local expertise. Lawrence 55 already has trained experienced Montessori educators, many of whom are willing to mentor, train, and support staff at little or no cost. If you invest in proper training and consistent support, you don't just build a program, you build a lasting system of excellence. Our committee has developed a plan for these 4 initiatives, including sessions provided free of charge. So I leave you with this question. What happened to the Montessori program that once made the district a model for others, and what steps are we willing to take to restore it? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Noble.
Very good.
I appreciate everyone who came out to speak tonight. Now we will turn to the superintendent's report.
So a couple of things that I wanted to share. I was able to take several of my slides out because Coach Compton had already covered a lot of those with the updates from the high school. But I do want to do a shout out for their mock representation that they had the other day before prom. That was a very, very moving experience, and thanks so much to all of our local coroner, also our local law enforcement, our EMS and fire, and also Prisma Health for bringing the helicopter in for that. And so it was very moving and also very impactful moment for our kids to make sure that they're making the right decisions during that time. Okay, so better. All right, so do want to just kind of reiterate our mission vision statement that we adopted last month. Building a 5-star district of excellence in Lawrence County School District encourages students to be college, career, and military ready through learning experiences supported by engaged staff, families, and the community. I do want to announce that Ford Elementary was selected by the State Department of Education to be a part of the Strategic Compensation Pilot Program. This was a component that the State Department is pushing forth to really look at really growing the amount of students or the growth and celebrating and rewarding teachers for getting the growth. We had actually submitted all schools to be a part of this compensation pilot program, but only Ford was selected. So we're happy for them. We'll be working with the State Department to implement this, and they will receive awards, and the teachers will be able to kind of reap the benefits of that based on the growth that they're able to get over the next year or so. Do want to also announce that we were also just recognized as a National Beta District of Distinction. Last year, there was only 78 districts in the nation that was identified as a National Beta District of Distinction. So there were 2 others in the state. And so now for this coming school year, we'll be recognized as the National Beta District of Distinction. And National Beta District of Distinction is awarded to school districts who demonstrated a commitment to academic excellence, leadership, development, and service involvement. And so we're excited about that, and I'd like to thank our Teaching and Learning Department for spearheading that, and all the work that Wendy Burgess did for that. Did want to bring to you the information about the 27-28 calendar committee meetings. We have met a couple of times with Clennon on the 27-28 calendar. We have a calendar that is approved by the committee group, but also in our last committee meeting, there was a lot of discussion about the 2-week breaks not being included anymore. And then some people wanted to go back to a traditional. So we have 3 calendars that will be receiving parent feedback and community feedback over the next week. Our next meeting is May 6th, that will take that information back to that group, but we'll be sending out information and samples of the modified calendar, the traditional calendar, and also a modified with the 2-week breaks at fall break and spring break. And then we'll be able to bring a calendar back for first reading at the May board meeting. That was scheduled to be on this this month's meeting, but the committee did not feel comfortable ready submitting that without a little bit more feedback. Friday is May 1st, and so we are counting down the end of the semester and the end of the school year. So the last 20 days, green days of school, will be SC Ready testing. So that's what you'll see there is the last 20 days of school. All the month of May will be SC Ready testing and makeup testing. We will be off May 25th for Memorial Day, and graduation will be May 29th, 10 o'clock at Casey Hanna Stadium, unless weather bumps us back inside. All right, and so that concludes my report, and we'll turn it over to Amanda Lacrose.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I did want to mention we also have EOC testing and AP testing as well in May. So there's a lot of testing that goes on in May. And obviously that's something, my program that I talk about a lot, and that's where we live right now. But today I'm here to talk to you about federal programs. Our federal programs are programs that we are aligning directly with our mission and vision for Lawrence 55. I've been waiting 3 years to be able to do this presentation because our federal program entitlement and our funds that come in should be directly tied to the vision, the mission, and the goals that you all as a board requested that we work on for the next 5 years. So you've heard this a number of times today, but in order to be a district of excellence, we need to make sure that we take a look at everything that we do and make sure it's targeted at making sure we are a district of excellence. So federal entitlement grants come from Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, that was established back in 2015. And they identify 5 different entitlement grants. There's Title I, which is our improving academic achievement of economically disadvantaged students. Title II is supporting effective instruction. That's really about professional development for teachers and building leaders. Title III is for our multilingual program. Title IV is student support and academic achievement. It's used to be called Safe Schools. And it's also where our 21st century money comes from. And then there's Title V, which is a rural education achievement program. And some districts qualify for that, some do not, ours does. So with those 5 grants, they are entitlement grants. So they are grants that we don't have to apply and compete with others for the funding, but we do have to apply and explain to the state and the federal government as to how we're going to use those funds, and they can only be used in certain ways. So I have broken this down really into our different goal areas. If you recall, the last time I was here, we talked about our goal for English language arts is to have 80% proficiency within the next 5 years. In math, it's 65% proficiency. And then in college and our career readiness, it's 75%. In order to do that, we need to make sure that all of the resources that we have within our district, we're using to the best of our ability to achieve those goals. So Title I is where our interventionists are funded. Several of our instructional coaches are funded. Extended learning for summer programming comes out of there, along with our 21st century instructional supplies and programs. We also have a graduation coach that we're looking at next year at the high school to help fund with some Title I money so that we can really target our college and career readiness. Title II, as I mentioned, is our professional development. It's also where we are able to fund, right now we fund about 2 teachers for class size reduction so we can have smaller class sizes in our elementary schools to help with the student achievement in those classes. And Title III is our multilingual program support, additional support for them. So we have part of an instructional coach that comes out of Title III, along with instructional supplies and materials. There's also some parenting pieces that are in there as well for that engagement piece that we're looking for, that we have in our vision statement. Our Title IV program, really our guidance counselors, our fine arts and phys ed programs, to make sure that we have a well-rounded educational program for our students to help them stay engaged and to learn a little bit more about things other than just maybe literacy and math, and to look at some careers. And then of course Title V, I mentioned that we are recipient of the Rural Achievement Grant, and we're able to fund some instructional coaches for schools out of there, along with a number of supplies and materials. When we look at our other 2 primary goals in the strategic plan, we're looking at teacher retention. You all targeted 90%. We would like to have a 3-year average of 90% retention. And school climate of everybody is average or above. So 100% of our schools will have that rating in school climate. And so when you look at teacher retention and school climate, what are the things that research says is most effective? Providing mentoring and coaching to teachers, making sure they have the materials that they need, providing the professional development for them, as well as providing a program that supports students so that they don't do all of the work, right? And so Title I, again, there's some of our instructional coaching, our supplies and programs, professional development, extended learning. Title II, class size reduction, professional development. We also have instructional coaching in Title III, along with our Alexia English program, which is our online program to help our multilingual students develop their language literacy a little bit quicker than just 30 minutes a day with a teacher. They also have some opportunities in the regular classroom to be able to work on that as well. And then Title IV, we have our guidance counselors and mental health counselors are also in there to help provide support to our students in a well-rounded educational program, and of course the Title V again. So what we're looking for today, is approval, which is in the memo. I believe I recommended a motion where we need official approval from the board that it's okay that we apply for these funds. As I mentioned, these funds are available to us, but we have to follow certain parameters and restrictions for what we can use the money for. And one of those is we need approval from the board to say it's okay to apply for these funds. I'll open it up to questions first, if anybody has any about those.
What is our teacher retention now?
Our teacher retention now, I believe we were at 83%, somewhere around there, low 80s. Right now, it is been hovering, it's been dropping a little bit. We were at 85 at one point, and it started to drop a little bit. Came up a tiny bit last year. If I remember, I've been living strategic plan for a while, because that 120-some page document goes to the state in about 2 days. So I believe it's 83-something% is our retention right now. We want to get to 90. The research shows that high-performing schools usually have 90% or above retention rates with their teachers, so that they're not continually reteaching and relearning year after year after year with a large number of staff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the dollar amount for if we file for all of the tiers and get approval for all of those? What is that dollar amount?
I do not know.
If you look
So
in your-
normally at this time we know.
If you look in your packet, you'll see what we've received over the past 3-4 years, but we don't have current year allocations for next year yet.
And it, you
Soon
know,
it's close to that value.
Yeah, well, typically, if it's changed at all, it's been within a couple of percentage points.
so our understanding is we'll probably be pretty close to what we've been before. Some of the titles might drop a little bit, but it's also determined a little bit by our demographics within our community as well. So at this time, 2 years ago, we knew what our allocations were. Last year, we didn't know at this time, and this year at this time, and I haven't heard anything from the state or from the federal government as to when we'll find that out. So,
But is it safe to say that it's extraordinarily important to the district that we get? the-
absolutely, it's over $3 million annually to support the schools, yes.
Any other questions? All right, so per Mr. Ms. Lackarose, we will need a motion for her to file the 26-27 federal programs report.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we file for the federal programs.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor of approving the motion to file for the federal programs for 26-27, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lackarose.
She'll now share our
All right.
fine arts strategic plan.
Yes, so I believe you have in your packet, and I volunteered to do this today because, as you'll notice, it says Fine Arts Strategic Plan. The Fine Arts Department has been meeting all year long to take a look at the current fine arts program and identify goals for where they would like to see the program head. If you take a look at the Fine Arts Strategic Plan that is in here, you will notice that they have the district vision statement and the Fine Arts vision statement. They have the district mission statement and the Fine Arts mission statement, and they are very similar. They complement each other, and that is because our director of fine arts was sitting on our steering committee. We specifically had her on that committee because we knew that they were writing the strategic plan for the fine arts program. And the purpose of this is to have the fine arts department work on the items that they feel are going to help their program to be a program of excellence. So they've identified 4 primary areas. There is curriculum and scheduling. They'd like to further develop and implement a real comprehensive standards-aligned arts curriculum. They have a variety of strategies that are listed that they are going to work on over the next 5 years to accomplish that. They also want to upgrade and expand their facilities and materials across the district. I can tell you this past year, they secured over $100,000 just for materials and equipment alone based on grants that they wrote with support from Jenny Cartier, our grant writer, in our office to facilitate purchasing and spending and things like that. So it was over, I believe it was about $105,000 additional funds that came in because they're focused on making sure that they are providing the best program possible for the students and they have the materials that they need. So they'll be looking at that and making recommendations if there's things beyond what they can do. They are constantly looking for and applying for grants and support from a variety of sources. The fine arts director salary right now is partially funded by a grant, and it will be again next year. They are also targeting professional development. They're looking for a comprehensive professional development program for the arts. They will be providing some of that professional development themselves. Cindy Wright, our Director of Fine Arts, has made a lot of connections the past 2 years while being by being the Director of Fine Arts and connecting with the South Carolina Arts Commission. And so she's brought some people in and will continue to do that, as well as we have a lot of expertise sitting right here in our district when it comes to fine arts. And so they want to tap into that and utilize some of our own to help everybody grow. And then finally, an equitable, high-quality arts program. They want to make sure that the arts program is available to all students, and they would like to increase the participation in that. So that's what their strategic plan is focused on, that they have been working on, and they have met the majority of our job alike meetings that we have had this year in order to develop this strategic plan and to begin talking about the curriculum and professional development and things to make sure that they have a program that's well articulated and quality for our students throughout the district. So I misunderstood. They actually do need board approval for this. So we can either have you look at it and approve it at the next meeting, or if you're comfortable, you can approve tonight. It's entirely up to you.
We
have
can't
time
approve
to
it
do that.
tonight because
Okay.
it wasn't listed as a board
That's
action
fine.
item, so it'll have to be added to.
To May.
To May.
Yep, and that's fine. So if you have any questions about the plan, though, I can answer those
have
right
one.
now, or we can have
I have one.
Sprite
I
answer
had
them.
a parent that was concerned because they did not have theater at the high school. So going forward with this, it will be offered.
Well, so that is one of the items that they have in here that they would like to expand, the opportunities that are here. And if you look at their, let's see, I just saw it, I believe it is in the curriculum piece where they would like to start addressing theater in the, for the program as well. I'm trying to see where it is. So, and we have had theater classes at the high school.
We did, we were not able to secure a teacher. So we would have had, we'd have a teacher, we couldn't secure a teacher that was willing to or capable of teaching.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
Ms. Lackaros, I
Yep.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. Up next, we'll have Dr. Harris with our facilities report.
Okay, first of all, I'd just like to give a shout out to our guys in maintenance who work so hard for us every day. Drew Allen supervises that group. Brant Crawford, Seth Hill, Matthew Malone, Toe Patterson, Albert Sharp, Alan Schifferly, and Josh Smith. In buildings that require a lot of maintenance, these guys stay very busy, and they do a good job for us, and I just want to recognize them again as I got started. Just going to go over a few things with you that's going on or has gone on in operations recently. Anderson Drive property is the property that we've purchased to move buses to, hopefully for next year. I can report to you now that we're on schedule for that. Right now we're working on utilities. We do have water and sewage there on site. We'll be tapping into that probably maybe even this week or next week. So once we get utilities going, then we'll move on to asphalt. We do have a contractor secured for that. We have a purchase order for that, so we'll be ready to go. And that's going to be a big part of getting that property ready. And then we're shopping possibilities for office space, how we're going to do that, whether that's going to be a modular type thing. We have some ideas and some things that we're looking at for Anderson Drive. So again, on schedule right now for the opening of next year's school to have buses on the property there at Anderson Drive. If you don't know exactly where that is, it's just down from the Y, just past Bryson Drive, the property right there on the corner. LDHS Athletics, we've been trying to make some good improvements there. We've purchased and have put in 2 of the sound systems that we recently got. Softball and baseball just last week got new sound systems there. They like to play that walk-up music for their games, and they've got something that sounds really good out there now. Football, as we were just out at the high school for the thing that Dr. Penland mentioned from last week, from early in the week, actually before the prom. We had you couldn't hear, it was muffled sound. We're going to have a new sound system going in out there, new speakers and things like that. and we're going to have a much better sound at football games and other events at that venue going forward. Softball improvements. Those girls had been a little bit neglected over the last few years as far as some things that they needed. We got them a new hitting machine, and I mean it's top of the line hitting machine. It can throw about any pitch you can imagine. Dugout improvements are going on right now. Press box improvements are about to start. We've had a lot of tree removal. If you go down the hill toward the softball field, it's always been a big grove of pine trees down there. Those are gone. We'll have that eventually. Once we get all the kudzu killed down there, we'll have grass growing down there. We've done a lot of drainage work up at the top, and we've put a curb down the right side of that drive to divert water away from heading toward the field. So we've done a lot of work out there recently. Restroom improvements at that facility as well, and so much better. And I just saw Michaela, the coach, just a little while ago, and she's very appreciative of all the things that have happened down there. We'll be working on football dressing rooms. Dressing rooms are there. We have on the home side underneath the stadium. There's something there, you may have never even seen it, but there are dressing rooms under the home bleachers and the visitors bleachers, but they're have been in terrible disrepair. We are making improvements there, and we'll start that work very soon, and it should be done in time for football season next year. I'm going to show you something about that in just a second. For the stadium, we'll have some concession upgrades I'll show you, and we've been doing a lot of tree removal and trimming down from the tennis court opening, that parking lot all the way down the line behind the visitor stands. We've been doing a lot of cleaning up down there, and the property looks a lot better. These are some plans that we have at the top up there. This thing has this thing will not work on that screen, so I'm not exactly sure why. But on the top picture is for the home side. That is very close to what we have there now, but some of that space right now is storage space. So we're going to take the storage space, make that into locker room space, and we're also going to add a piece, about a 20-foot piece down on this end. This end will be brand new. So we'll have a couple thousand square feet of locker room under there, new lockers, new bathroom facilities in there, a complete upgrade to everything in there, and that's going to be very nice. That was in lieu of trying to do something with a brand new field house. We felt like we would use our existing structure there and redo it, save some money, and have something nice for our guys to be in. The bottom picture is going to be the visitor stands. Right now, all of that structure is underneath the bleachers. You can see by that picture that it comes out from the bleachers now. We're going to add to that space as well. We're going to take the storage that was there and use that as locker room space, and we'll have a much nicer facilities for teams that come in from other schools to be able to go in there and have a nice place to dress, nice place to use bathroom, things like that. And it's going to be a big upgrade for us and Coach Porter's program out there, so something we can be proud of. The concession stand is not quite right on that picture, so I'm going to show you this picture. As you can see, again, bottom left is home. That's the home side, and you can see the addition that's going to be put, the green addition going to be put on the end of that building. Okay, so we'll have all that space, no storage right there, but all that space will be locker room. On the right on the right end, on this at the bottom, you see a small green space. Many of you know there used to be a concession stand right there under the bleachers that was used, okay, on the home side. We're going to renovate that, okay, and add to it. The green part will be added, and so we'll have the entrance or the opening of the new concession will be right there where that green box is, bottom right, and it will be facing toward Raider Road.
If you want to, I think it'll, see if your pointer will work on that one.
I don't think it will. Oh, yep. It did. Right there is concession, okay? Now, we're not going to go away from the existing concession will still operate, Okay, what we're thinking is we'll either close the home side and sell visitors concession out of the existing concession stand and sell home at this area, or we'll have it open for both and just have a second one down here. Don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet, but it should, as you all know, if you go to a football game, there's a lot of traffic right there. And if we can ease some of that traffic by allowing people to come out of the bleachers, come under the bleacher right there, buy something and go back in, we should alleviate a good bit of congestion in that right corner down there with this new concession area. So questions about that? I see a couple of, maybe we don't quite understand what we're going to do, but hopefully it's going to be a good addition. Again, it used to be a concession area and they've closed it down, but it needs some work. And again, we'll make an addition to it to make it a good bit better. All right? So that's there. This is Lawrence Middle. We have had to do a lot of work in preparation to put a new basketball floor in there. We put a new floor in at Sanders just a couple of years ago. This one that we want to put in Lawrence Middle will be almost exactly like that one. We had to do, this hill would run water down. If you see the blue door, right around there, all right? Mm-hmm. Water would run under there onto the floor, flood the gym. It's been doing it for 20 years, okay? So you see a wall's been built down that sidewalk. And you see an awning coming from the top. They haven't quite completed that yet, but it will come all the way down the sidewalk this way and tie into the awning near the going down to the gym on the other end. You can see some white right down here. You can see some white holes. Those are holes in the ground. There's an 8-inch pipe down there. After this awning is completed, the gutters that come down the side of that building will go across that awning and down into those holes and run all the water that comes off that building into that 8-inch pipe and away from the building that way. Okay, so before we could put a gym floor down, we had to solve this problem of water getting in the gym. There's also a French drain on this side that we started with. It didn't do the job. We had to keep going back and finishing. So this is going to be this will be nice once that awning is completed and we get a new gym floor in there. Things will be looking a whole lot better. We also want to do some work on these. These windows right here. These windows are really, really old and in bad shape. We want to replace those and just give that facility a. Am I doing that, Dan?
No, I'm doing it. So
you're doing it. Okay. Good. All right. That means speed up. All right, so anyway, Lawrence Middle, that's a good bit of work going on, and we're real proud of that. I think they're going to like it once everything's done. Here's some playground shades from Waterloo that we put in. They're very nice. There's some new playground equipment back there behind it that we just put in. Here's one in another area. There's a playground that was put in out there. This is for the older kids at Waterloo, and that's both of those things together. Ford Elementary got 2 new playgrounds. These are for the little kids. This one was in the back. There was a picture, and we didn't get it on there. There's an identical one on the other side of the building. It looks just like that. And again, this is for our little kids and also for some special needs students to have a place to play other than the big playground. So those just went in. Summer work, a lot of painting, a lot of bathroom work, high school, Sanders, Summit Lawrence Middle in the gym. Fencing projects we'll be doing at Sanders, Waterloo, Anderson Drive, maybe the old hardware store corner lot coming out on 221. We need to try to get that fenced in at some point. High school camera project, which is a grant-funded project. We'll get a whole new camera system at the high school this summer. Completely new and on one system. There's about 5 different systems out there operating right now. Determine the next roofing job. That's probably going to be Lawrence Middle because it's just the next one in line. And then the high school and LPA, they're complete, and that's just been done. And then the high school stadium work will be ongoing this summer. Centegix is an ID call button system that we're getting ready to buy. I have a meeting with someone tomorrow about that. This will alert first responders in cases of emergency, school officials as well. We'll be working with Joey Avery. He's working with District 56 on theirs. He's the former 911 director in Lawrence County to begin the process of implementation. Our goal is January of 2027, and that also is a grant-funded project. Bud Group has been a challenge. All these teachers will tell you Bud Group's been a challenge. I deal with them every day. And so we're starting year 3 with Bud Group. They do our custodial work. It's been a mixed bag. It's been up and down. We've had a good many problems. I'll tell you this, their upper management is really, really good. I think they do what they do better than anybody else around here. It's just difficult to get people to do that work. Okay, it's difficult to get people for what they get paid to do that type of work. So you're constantly replacing people to try to get the job done. But after year 3, we'll have an opportunity to either go with them for a 4th year or go back to bid. If we go with them for a 4th year, we'll be able to do that again for a 5th year or go to bid, or we can go with them for 5 years, and then after that it has to go out to a bid again. So we're working with them. They've been good recently, trying to put some things in place to make things better. And like I say, their upper management is very, very good. And I think they're giving us a good effort anyway, but it's not what it needs to be for our schools in every school by far. We still have a long way to go. So that's kind of ongoing. Just want to give a shout out to a couple of contractors. Garrett Construction, which is a local company here in Lawrence, has done some good work for us recently. W.E. Baker & Son, this is a contractor that's going to do the work at the high school stadium. They're out of Newberry. They're very good. They've been easy to work with. I had one more that didn't show up there, but I can't remember exactly who it was. I had one other I was going to share with you. Anyway, we've got a lot of good contractors that are doing some good work for us in 55, and appreciate their efforts. Any questions for me? Yes, sir.
The board at the high school, they advertise stuff up there by the street.
Yes, sir.
Is that working?
It isn't right now.
What can we do to get it working?
I've talked to Brian Gressman and I have talked about that. We're gonna be doing some sign work in the district. We're trying to get somebody to come there and fix it. The people out of Columbia that put it in, we have not been able to get them back recently to work on it. They've usually come back, but they have been slow to do that. So we're working on trying to get somebody to come in but it is, yes, sir. It needs to be fixed. Because that's not an old sign, that's just a few years old.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, what he gave for the high school, that would be good for him.
right. And we know that, so we're working on it. Our plan with signs is to maybe put a couple of these in a year at some different schools and get everybody one at some point, so we're kind of working towards that. Any other questions? Okay.
All right, thank you, Dr. Harris.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we'll move on to board operations. Dr. Finland.
Okay, we have 3 policies and 1 administrative rule that we need to look at. In policy GCK, professional staff assignments and transfers, this one was brought last month. There have been a couple of updates since then, so I'll point those out to you. And the yellow highlight, we have pulled verbiage from the regulation. Instead of by the July the 15th of each year, it says no later than 14 calendar days before students are scheduled to return. They have put in the 14 days based on, different people using different schedules, and so they changed it to 2 weeks versus a certain date. And also, The teacher must be afforded written notice of at least 5 school days in advance of reassignments unless superintendent demonstrates that advance notice cannot be accomplished because of critical student need or the teacher requested the reassignment. The local board of trustees must be notified in writing of all teacher assignments. Reassignments, that was pulled straight out of regulation, which took out if a mid-year change is needed 5 days notice, because that's really at any given time, not just mid-year. But all other things in GCK are the same as presented last month. Any questions about those?
There is an extra or
Where's that?
under transfer, the second line. After it says the
Says
school
principal
principal or the superintendent or his or her designee.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Candace?
so these changes, typically the policy would remain the same from first reading to second reading unless the board had indicated there were some changes to be made. So you said these changes were made based on regulations.
Yes.
Is that something that happened since the last board meeting?
They were, no, they were already in the place, but they have not been, they were just not included in this policy. So if we need to push them back for second reading in May, that's fine.
Yeah, I think in our March meeting, there are obviously additions that
Yeah.
were not in the first reading in March.
That's correct.
So this, we can't vote on this until we have it.
Right.
So this is not a second reading anymore, it's a
Okay.
first reading for those.
Right.
All right. So, we'll then.
And I
let me
think that
just-
would be the same for the
for-
next policy
That's
as
correct.
well.
Yep. So let me
Yeah.
go ahead and, we'll do these as information for first reading. In the second policy, GCC, professional staff leaves and absences, we did include the, high impact days like the first week of school, last week of school, professional development, early release days, or days prior to holidays will need approval by the superintendent or his designee whenever people are asking, for leave. Also, the including of the dual employees will be eligible for permanent attendance only for his or her primary job. That has been some kind of questions about, are they eligible for multiple perfect attendances if they work multiple jobs? And also, we cleaned up the last line of that thing to talk about the State Department certification was not required there. And we added in the actual prorated schedule to be utilized for part-time employees. So all of that information is there for first reading now. And also in this one, the personal leave on the third page, that will now read, because you received another email about that one. That one will read.
Do we have copies of that one? Is that what?
That's what Candace put at your place, yes. Personal leave, the district will allow all full-time personnel to use 3 sick days as personal leave. That's not a change in our policy. The district will grant personal leave with the approval of the immediate supervisor. What we're trying to do is clean that up because some people get confused whenever they get 12 sick days, but 3 of those are allowed to be used as personal. They think they should be getting 3 personal days and 12 sick days. So we're trying to clean that up in policy. So that will now read that way. So any other questions on that policy as now it's first reading? And then policy
And those
G.
two, you'll need to update your date on the back. on
Okay.
Adopted as well.
Yep. All right, and policy GDC is the support staff. That mirrors the one that we just went over, GCC, professional leave. So all 3 of those will now be first readings, and the GCC and GDC are identical to each other except for professional leave versus support staff.
So you had requested for that one to waive the second reading, but I'm assuming only because it was tied to the professional.
Correct.
So
And
we can
all
just
3
add
will
that
be-
to next time.
All 3
Okay.
will be first reading now and will be second reading next month.
Okay.
All right, the other, the next one, ARGDC-R, COVID-19. Even though they said that we have end date on that in the policy, we still needed to run this one through the board. Also, we did the professional leave last month. We will do the support staff this month. And so that policy will be removed from our policy guide referencing COVID-19.
Okay.
Any questions on that? All right, our next item on the agenda is the Sanders Middle and Lawrence Middle grade configuration. The recommendation that was made last month was for us to have a work session today. We did do that. We had some information that was compiled from surveys from our community, also letters that have been received. We were able to share that information with the board during our work session. We received 150 mailed-in letters. We've received 340 something responses to our online proposal, and I'll just kind of go through the proposal. Is for the 26-27 school year. 6th grade will be a single grade Montessori class with a focus sorry, that's not what I was going to talk about. The 6th grade center would be at Sanders. Lawrence Junior High would become 7th, 8th, and that is the proposal that was made last month. And the work session looked at the data, and also I was just going to share some of this data again real quick. This is based on the survey. We had 348 responses. This was actually first sent out to those that had students in the program in 5th, 6th, 7th that would be directly directly impacted, and then also it was opened up to the community to give further information there. And so whenever we looked at grade realignment, you can look at 1 is I'm against, 5 is I'm for, and then you have your 2, 3s, and 4s in there. And so you can see grade realignment configuration there. And whenever we start looking at most of this information, pretty much it's balanced with a third against and 2/3 for, as we shared during our work session. Future expansion is there for the use of, I'm in favor for the proposal to expand Sanders into a 5th grade center after year 1 for the 27-28 year. School identity, which was the names, basically 1/3 to 2/3. Also Montessori continuity, where they plan to facilitate the Montessori strategies for the 6th grade. So that was also 1/3 to 2/3. Honors transition, you can see that was very much higher kind of in favor of for the junior high level, the 7th, 8th grade, becoming a 48 and over 250-ish. I can't read that far. And the course acceleration, also there, you can kind of see the STEM and the arts. You had very much in favor of continuing the STEM, the arts, and the course under this new configuration. Athletic access, the consideration there for intramurals will be at Sanders, and how that in favor of the transportation with the difference and the change there. We had the little bit of an impact there on timing and the start time. Enrollment relief, very much in favor of being able to relieve the enrollment at Lawrence Elementary, Ford Elementary, and EB based on this move. Facility investment, looking at the $5 million that we've done, the improvements at Sanders, just justifying this enrollment there, basically 1/3 to 2/3. And the teacher placement question that we had on that survey also was about 1/3 to 1/4 to 3/4. Class size configuration there, when we're looking at projected class size of 18-19 at Sanders, 21-22 at Lawrence Middle, or Lawrence Junior High. You can see the things there. So that is basically the additional information that we had on the survey that we were able to provide. We went through the questions that you had based on, what does that look like for Montessori, where the information was from our community mail-in reports and their surveys and comments, and combine that all. And so again, I will ask for a recommendation, a vote tonight, if there's not any other questions or concerns of
Discussion.
discussion, yeah.
I knew everybody knew I opposed it. But let me say this. You had 3 people come up to talk about Montessori tonight, and I think they all had valid points. A school is not Montessori. The program is what makes Montessori. Now, if Montessori has lost its luster, it's because of administration. It's not because of no building. Okay? Number 2, he's showing right here at number 5, where he's saying 2/3 of the people, approve of this. That's since Friday. He sent this survey out Friday, and everybody responded today by 12 o'clock. That's where he got that large number from. But a group have been running these letters since the last board member sent out 400 letters, and he's saying he only received 150. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So, in the spirit of making our community better, getting rid of this foolishness, fighting each other, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we vote no on this. That's my motion. Outright racism.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, that's my motion.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have a motion, so Mr. Carpenter's making a motion to not approve, to not move forward with this. So in order to move forward with his motion, he would need a second.
I'm confused. So we're just in discussion here, but I assumed that our superintendent was going to make a motion to approve it.
Well, the superintendent can't make a motion.
Okay, so we got a motion not to approve it. Okay.
That's
okay,
right.
I just want to make sure.
That's
how-
right,
how
yeah.
we vote here.
Anybody could have spoke up and said any
Okay,
motion
I got you. I just
related
wanted
to
to make
it.
sure.
But, yeah, but that's what it is, so.
We weren't backing into something
Yes,
here that was,
so
it was confusing.
Dr. Penland's recommendation is we approve the
The
reconfiguration.
motion is not.
Mr. Carpenter's made a motion.
Here's a
Got-
His
okay,
is
I
just
got
a
you.
recommendation, and Mr. Carpenter has made a motion to not approve.
And I second.
Okay? Now I'm gonna open it up for discussion.
Yeah.
So, is there any further discussion?
I just told you my 2 cent word. I don't understand. I hate this coming about like this, but I don't understand why a superintendent would choose to fight an entire community. We're not moving forward. We're moving backward. And I don't care how many principals come up here and give the glowing report that Mr. Crumpton gave today. As long as we operate like this, we're going backwards. So I'm saying in the spirit of promoting our community, let's vote this down. That's my motion.
But I'll also say there are a lot of people that are also in favor of it. I don't think it's all the communities.
It might be, but what I'm saying, what I'm questioning, is that number he got from 12 o'clock Friday to 12 o'clock today. I don't believe that.
But I think for our work session though, these numbers are not just from the survey on Friday, but they included all of the surveys leading up to this.
Ku Klux Klan thing.
But these numbers, when they calculated, included
Ku Klux Klan
survey
thing.
information from not just for Friday, but it
So let me-
cumulative all the way up to Friday.
Let me clarify the survey. The survey initially went out March 30th to those that were going to be directly impacted by the change of their students.
How many, do you know how many people that?
75 people responded to that.
Okay.
And so that would be the parents of these students that would have been impacted for this. And so that's how many people responded from March the 30th. We did open the same survey back open this past weekend, started on Friday, and we received another to get to 350 participants. And so whenever you have that combined with, that's including the 75 people. I shared information with you during the work session of the survey results based on just the 75. and I served the other 275. You also had that, and then you had a combined document that showed the surveys with the results of these graphs that have all 350 participants reporting there.
You help undermine.
So whenever,
Okay.
Black superintendent.
Okay,
You a crook.
not from the audience,
We
please.
asked for attack on the black community. We asked for that to go out at the last board meeting. You say you put it out on March the 30th, but you didn't share it with the board. But you gladly shared what you put out prior.
Because we only shared it on March the 30th with people that it was impacting. We didn't send it to you to get feedback on March 30th.
But don't you want us to trust you? Talking to the guy, that's undermining Dr. Thomas.
Let me ask a question. So the survey that you sent out on March 30th to
A racist
parents
crook.
that would be impacted, that included, you only got 75 responses, or it was only sent to 75 people?
It was only responses of 75 people.
So what grade groups did that go to?
That went to current 5th grade Montessori students that would be going to either Lawrence Middle or Sanders.
Right.
Current 6th grade parents at Lawrence Middle and Sanders, and current 7th grade parents at Lawrence Middle and Sanders. So whenever you are looking at direct impact for students of parents of students in the program, that would not have included a board member unless you had a child in that program at that level. So you would not have received that on March the 30th. You received it whenever it went out to the entire population, just like everybody else did.
This grandstand. We have protested every
Well,
school.
I
that
will
happened.
say,
This grand-
I will
Protests
say,
break out at every school.
calm down. I will say that, the board did instruct the superintendent to send out the survey at our last meeting. So it is unfortunate that it didn't come out until the Friday before the meeting. So we did address that. So, Ms. Nance, you had
What
something
about
to share?
our AI generated summary?
That was generated from all of the comments that people input on the survey.
Okay, can I
Yes.
read it?
Absolutely.
Timeline and planning. Delay implementation until the 2027-2028 school year to allow for more planning preparation and a smoother transition for both teachers and students. The current timeline for the 26-2027 school year is considered rushed and has caused distrust among staff. That's the timeline planning from the AI generated. And concern the Montessori program, strongly reconsider discontinuing or dismantling the Montessori program, especially for 5th through 8th grades, as it is a valued, highly effective educational approach with strong test scores. Suggestions include consolidated upper elementary Montessori grades 4 through 6 at Sanders to maintain the multi-age model of keeping Montessori grades 7, 8 at the Lawrence Middle School with appropriate teacher training. I think that's. And some respondents believe that program has led to segregation and is not effective for preparing students for high school.
Anything else? I do want to share my thoughts as well. I will be very frank in that when this was first mentioned to me, I was completely on board and thought that this, great, where we would move all the students through Sanders. But after sitting in on the meetings, after developing questions that I am still not quite comfortable with the answers with. My biggest takeaway, because even in a conversation I had with Mr. Carpenter, it's like, why? Why are we doing this? And for me, I think the biggest takeaway would be, if we cannot show that we're going to academically move our students forward, and this is going to impact them on the academic side, I think we have so many other things going on right now that we should be focused on instead of making this type of change in the district. And I would, echoing what Mr. Carpenter said about the speakers from Montessori, that is a program that I wish that we could get back to, back to our roots and pull that back into the district and let it shine as it did years ago. So that's just my thought. But any further, go ahead, sorry.
I feel the same way about the Montessori program. It's something we need to get stronger in. They need the support that they need to make that happen. And as far as this reconfiguration, it's just, it's too rushed for this to happen this year. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and so.
I was in Montessori last Monday, and I seen 5-year-olds. Everything they done was organized. They put it back. Now, my grandkids were not involved, trust me. They got a long way to go, but I watched them. These kids are amazing. They do what they're supposed to do. I liked it. Would it work for me? No, absolutely not. But
Yeah, I think that's, I think that, my children, I have some kids that's in the Montessori program. I have some that's on the traditional track. I think that it is ultimately left up to the parent is, what do you think is best for your child? Somewhere along the way, from my child that is now an 8th grader that's going to be in high school, the Montessori program has dwindled out. I remember when she first started, there was a lot of information that was given to the community. I remember meetings of, the parents coming in and getting to talk, of this is the path for Montessori, this is the path for traditional, and we don't do that anymore. While I do, after having conversations about the reconfiguration, and I'll be very honest, the people that, gave me their opinion, they're very much for this happening. I do think that it could potentially be a good idea, but I don't think that the plan is appropriate at this time. I think that there needs to be very specific plans in place. I mean, we're looking, I know Lawrence Middle School has already chosen their cheerleaders for next school season. Sanders has too. I mean, we can't, what are,
and I've
there's
talked
just-
to the Lawrence Middle coach about what that would look like, and so they would be able to provide, some information there to. So those are things that, had to happen to go ahead and be in place. This was on the schedule to be done in March, so that was something else that just had to go ahead but they did wait till after March was over. So.
All right,
Y'all should've kept Dr.
any
Thomas.
additional,
He doesn't
any
know what he's
additional
doing.
discussion? I said any additional discussion before we take a vote? Okay. So I'm going to call for a vote. Mr. Carpenter has made a motion that we not move forward with the middle school reconfiguration. Ms. Nance has seconded it. We've had our discussion. So all in favor of not moving forward with the reconfiguration, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those that are opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I think the yeses have it. So at this point, we will not be moving forward with the reconfiguration.
Okay, thank you.
Well, hallelujah up there.
All right, now we'll move on to finance and operations.
Good evening. I'm Leanne London, and I am here to present the financial information for the month of March.
We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm short. How about that? Okay, I'm Leanne London, and I am here to present the financial information.
I think she needs a new mic.
Try it now.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am here to present the financial information for the month of March. Our cash as of the end of March 2026 is at $9,484,440. Compared to this time in 2025, we were at $13,055,862. And as in previous board meetings, the difference in those two numbers is the timing of the, are you okay? Yeah. The difference in those two numbers is the timing of the payroll that we pay. Sometimes the subsequent month will hit before month end, and sometimes it doesn't hit until after month end. So we usually pay about a $3 million per month in payroll. Looking at our revenues for the month of March are at $46,413,832. Expenditures of $40,802,973, which puts us at a net income of $5,610,859 as of the end of March. Compared to this time last year, we were at $4,122,681. Let's turn over to look at the revenues, the year-to-date revenues. Our property tax collections are pretty much collected as of the end of March. We don't expect to receive too much more the rest of the school year. But looking down at the state revenues, we're still collecting for state aid to classrooms and our Tier 3 money as well. We have not yet received the property tax and the homestead relief exemption income that usually will come in during the month of April. So that puts our revenues at $41,413,831.62. And looking over at our expenditures for the month of March, we're at
Ms. London, can we stay on the revenue sheet for
Yes.
just a minute? So the last column shows percent received. Well, it says percent received,
Okay.
but those percentages are not correct.
No, those percentages are not correct. Those were inadvertently copied from the report that printed out from the system, and so those should have been changed. So the percent receipt as of the end of the month, we're at 78% in total. So those
Could you just
percent-
send the board an updated
Yes, I
copy
will.
of that when
Yes, I
that's
will.
corrected? Thank you.
Yes. So okay, we're at 78% as of the end of the month in collections for the year. And so looking at expenditures, we have a goal remaining of 25%, which puts us at our actual goal, our actual amount of expenditures are at 32% remaining. So we're about 7% to the good there. But I do want to point out the, where you see the object number 9395 for other professional and technical services. We have a budget of over $1.1 million. Most of this budget is for school resource officers, and the county bills us monthly. And so we haven't yet received the invoices this year for the county, and we have been in touch with them, and they will be getting the first 3 quarters through the end of March to us soon, and those are $543,000. We received the invoice, we were invoiced twice from the city for school resource officers. We're billed every 6 months, and we got the first 6 months the month of April. So those collections there's a lot of budget left in that, and that's the reason why we just have not received these invoices yet, but we have followed up with the county and we got the city, so those will hopefully be reflected in April and May. So, any questions on the March financials?
Yeah, appreciate you highlighting that for us.
Okay, sure.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Lauren, I mean, I hope everything's going smoothly. But is there any way we can look back, because when we first bought resource officers here, the agreement was that we were supposed to provide space plus 10%. And I think we are way beyond that, and I don't know how we got to it.
When you say, you say space
Yes,
plus 10%.
So,
when we come into the school,
Mhm.
we provide the space and 10% of cost.
Yeah,
I
so
think we are way beyond,
we agree with that.
and I don't know how we got there.
So we are responsible for paying their salary, their workman's comp, their insurance. We pay for their radios. We pay for their vehicles.
when you say pay for, you're talking about, I mean,
This
'cause
is
we
what's
don't
on.
buy police officers' cars, right? We just.
We give them, I think, an allowance
stipend.
maybe.
They get a-
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a
So
vehicle
that's
allowance.
that's what we bill for.
Which goes for their, being able to do that. So they're with us 190 days and also during the summer, if we have summer school there. And so we get billed by the day for them to be working.
Okay.
So-
And so, I don't remember that agreement of 10% with, the space.
You weren't even in the district.
I was about to say,
Yes,
there
I'm-
should be a letter of agreement, like
And the letter of
dating back.
agreement, I don't know where the letter of agreements are in the past, but we do have a letter of agreement with them now. We also have, 2 SROs that are state funded that we have written grants with the city, that we were allowed to do. So, 2 of our city, SROs are paid for by a grant. The state will not allow us to pick up any more, grant-funded positions because that was solely left for schools that did not have SROs. So since we were already providing them everywhere, we were not able to do that. And so we were able to get in for LPA, did not have a dedicated SRO, so we were able to do a grant for them. And at the time, we did not have one funded at E.B. Morris because we were sharing between Lawrence Middle and E.B. So those are the 2 that we have state funded, is E.B. Morris and Lawrence Preparatory Academy.
This seems odd that we're getting 6-month payments here. I wonder, would it be easier and more able for us to keep track if we get billed monthly?
I'm not sure why they bill us every 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does the letter agreement highlight that? Do you know?
I'll go back and double check that to see
I
what
would-
they're requested for to bill us, but I was thinking it was quarterly, if not, I mean, I think it's quarterly as well.
Because we got,
Yeah, I was
with
gonna say,
this
didn't
last
we,
year.
yeah, didn't we get in trouble
Yeah,
this
we had to
last
pay
Yeah,
year
like
with a
$800,000
1.5
bill.
million?
Exactly.
The county bills us quarterly, but
Yeah.
they haven't sent the bill yet.
Yeah.
We reached out to them, and they're supposedly getting the first 3-quarter bills to us. And the city, from my understanding, has been billing us for just twice a year.
I'll call Rose on the way home.
All right, we're gonna put Mr. Hughes in charge of that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on to the audited financial statement. We've received a draft over the weekend for the audited financial statement as of the end of June 30th, 2025.
And do we have a copy of that you can share with the board?
Yeah, I can get a draft, I can get a copy to you. And today around, it was shortly after noon, I received an updated draft. So these haven't been reviewed by me in total, just I've looked at a few numbers. So I will be forwarding the draft to Dr. Pendleton, and he can send it out.
I do have one printed if somebody needs to take a print of it. And was that the updated one that you sent?
Yes, I
me?
did, yes.
Okay.
So we haven't had a chance to
When
look
can
into
we
how the
get a-
numbers, I'm sorry.
When can we get a copy of that draft?
I'll send it to you tonight or tomorrow, so whenever.
And what's our status? When are we gonna be able to finalize our audit? And I will preface all this by saying, I know this is not really on you, but it is on you, but it's not, you're not any part of why we are here. You are just trying to clean this up. So when will we see the final audit?
I'm hoping that he will be able to present it at the next board meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, And our next item on the agenda, I mean, are we finished with the audit? Everybody good with that? Okay, our next item on the agenda is fiscal watch, and you've received that letter that we received from the state due to our audit not being filed by January the 30th. That is the reason we have our own fiscal watch, because that filing had not been made. In the letter, it states that the board can choose to appeal with us still not having that audit. That is an option that we could submit reasons for us not having it, but if not, we also have to have a response for an improvement plan per se by 60 days of receiving the letter. That has to come from the board. And so that was one of the things that we did put on here on board action, but that would only be if y'all wanted to do the appeal to not be on fiscal watch. If not, then we need to figure out a timeline for drafting and getting out a response back to the state within the 60 days from the board. Because I mean, we could draft that, but I don't know that that needs to come from me or Leanne. That needs to come from the board.
I don't want to be on
think-
physical watch, I can tell you that.
I don't think we can appeal. It's past the timeline.
Okay.
I mean, we were notified on April 14th. And
So
has
you
there
have-
been any communication with the State Department? Like, have we responded? Because I asked for a copy of that originally, and you said you hadn't responded. Have we responded?
Because that has to come from the board. That didn't come from.
Okay, was this due to the auditor's office?
Who does it submit to, Leanne? For
Excuse me?
who has to receive that from the auditor?
The
on-
se-
I'm
Go ahead.
saying, us getting this letter, was it due to the auditor's office not turning it in on time?
The audit was due December the 1st.
Correct.
And if you do not have it turned in by January the 30th, you go on fiscal watch.
Okay, so who's supposed to do the audit?
That is the company that we have contracted with to do the audit.
So it was that fault.
Say it again?
It was that fault.
Well,
They didn't do the audit.
that was partially the time that we did not have a CFO, so we were submitting information to the auditor. He was responding that he didn't have what we needed, but then the people in our office was sending him what they had requested, and then there was this time of no response back and forth. Then that contact was made in January. He said that we would need to submit X, Y, Z. We did that to him. We still did not have an audit. Leanne came in, realized that there was additional stuff that needed to be closed, closed some additional accounts, and has been back and forth with the auditor and still getting some responses of, I mean, we've asked him to come in multiple times to actually come in on site to say, this is what we don't have, this is what we need, but we are not getting a response of being able to have that type of assistance.
If he don't wanna come in, maybe we need to get somebody else, hire somebody else.
There will be a proposal for a new auditor for next year.
Kathy, I think we
Go ahead.
should appeal. Well, regardless of what's going, just to let them know that we are involved.
Well,
We didn't create this.
Well,
I'm going to share some comments.
Can I
Okay,
make
go
a
ahead.
statement? This is the same auditor that we've used for several years, correct? Have we ever been late before?
Yes, we have been late, but not the 2 months late.
Okay. Also, I thought that when we allowed our previous CFO to stay on staff was to get some things finished up with the audit so it could be submitted.
That is correct.
And I will also say that, Dr. Pillen, you shared with the board that you and our procurement officer would be in charge of this. We suggested getting an interim CFO, and you said that you and he could do it.
Okay. That did not happen. And whenever Leanne came in. She also realized that there were items that had been audited for several years that had not been closed. And so she has been working on getting items closed from the same auditor since 2017. Has been finding accounts that were not closed in that amount of time. So that is multiple CFOs, the same auditor, and so there are multiple issues there. So I will take the level of responsibility that is mine, but there is also multiple levels of responsibility that are there for multiple years of closing out accounts and audits that have addressed that everything has been all closed and all clear, but have not been for years.
Just can't say what's yours, because we caught up in this now, so you gotta get it straight. You're superintendent.
Yeah, I know.
Ms. London, this is a question for you, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Just because we turn this audit in when we get through it, we're still on physical watch for 12 months, is that correct?
I believe so, that's correct.
Well, it says in the letter that we are on fiscal watch, but you cannot come off in the same fiscal year.
So
So
would it
we
be
could possibly
January?
come off in July 1. So,
Let's not wait till the late hour to get it right. Let's get it right now.
yeah.
So we don't have any
And so, as I said, Leanne has been working feverishly back and forth with our auditor to get the information that he has requested, resending information that he has already requested and she has already sent, resending information that they have had multiple times. And so there is a level of request, send, request again, send, request again, send, and it's the same information
All right,
continuing.
if we're not getting anything done with this auditor, is it time to change the auditor now?
Yeah, but we can't do that at this point, but we can do that before
So
we start the
we're,
next.
what I hear then is we're
level.
at the mercy of this person. If we don't get anything done, if he doesn't act on your request or the information that he's requesting, then we're totally at this individual's mercy. And I find that terrible.
Look, I appreciate, there's enough blame to go around on this one. I don't think it's all on the auditor. We've had mistakes and we have fallen short. If we had had our information to the auditor on time, this wouldn't have been an issue. You know, if we had not pushed until the auditor's tax season for April 15th, he would have had more time with us. So I think that there's a balance of blame there.
Mr.
But-
Carter, do you ever remember us being on physical watch before?
No.
That's what I was afraid you'd say.
I like to make a suggestion, you know. There's one thing we don't utilize as a board is committees.
Is what?
Committees.
Mm-hmm.
Board
Right.
chair can appoint her own committee. Can't be no more than 3 people because it can't be a board. And we can watch this thing month by month. We can monitor it.
So that committee would meet outside of the board to address, okay.
It can't be no more than 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That constitutes a board.
Well, I'm just, you know, it sounds like right now I'm just worried about moving forward. And if the auditor is the logjam here, how do we unjam that?
By having a committee, because that committee can be the person that's speaking with her and keeping her aware of what we need to know.
But that doesn't really, you think that would free up with the auditor?
No, but it'll keep them aware that we are watching.
Yeah.
We want to get it done.
And would that committee also from the getting off physical watch, is that a benefit to getting us back in good with the state?
Yes.
I'm assuming
Could
that
be
would
one of
need to
the
be part of the
proposals.
financial recovery plan that we need to present to the State
Right.
Department. Because we are past the 10-day mark of appealing. So
Right.
Oh, we can't even appeal it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we-
And based on this committee
That's
thing,
because-
at
yeah.
the commission of the chair, she can move people around at her discretion. It don't have to be the same for people. If somebody feel like they can't be there for a couple months, she can put somebody in their place. Another board member.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I want to say, Ms. London, I appreciate everything that you have done since you've been here. I'm sure that what you have walked into was not an easy task, so thank you.
Absolutely agree. Thank you very much.
we'll get it straight and move forward. We will.
Thank you.
So what happens now that we're on fiscal watch? What does that mean?
They're gonna be watching us for a year or till July or whatever.
So what's this?
So that's the lowest level of fiscal, kind of,
If extra,
Watch,
you're
caution, and emergent.
low, medium, high risk, it can lower your risk.
So is there a state going to send an auditor eventually to declare that we're off or in deeper trouble? I mean, I'm trying to understand the process now.
We have to send in this financial recovery plan to.
From the letter that I read, didn't they?
yes.
If we needed help.
And so what we'll do is we'll submit the, that's, the
Yeah.
board committee, if that's something that the board wants to do to kind of help develop this plan, we don't mind helping do that. But based on the way I read this was that the board has to submit it, not coming from me or Leanne as the appeal or the plan. And so we can definitely help draft and tell you things that we're putting in place or do that type of work, but it will be continually has to come from the board.
We have to have this plan in 60 days from April 14th.
Correct.
So it would need to be probably voted on in the May meeting.
It would have to be
Yeah.
voted on in May to get it in time.
Okay.
What year is the audit for? 24, 25?
Yes, ma'am.
I got one other question. If we don't meet what they want by January, what's the next? Do we lose?
They have not told us this. Yeah, they have not told us that. What happens if they don't accept the plan or if the plan isn't, they have not gone there.
Because if we don't file our what's got, we get fined.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the ethics commission. Yeah.
So I want to know if we get fined for this not good.
All right, next item is Dr. Harris on performance.
Do we need to vote on this?
We can't, I mean, we
mean-
don't have anything to vote on.
because.
We don't have a plan.
I mean, is there,
I mean-
what's the process for you appointing a committee for that? Is that something that you need to do during the meeting or?
No. Yeah, we can, that doesn't have to be done at the
Okay.
meeting. So, but we will do that.
All right, so I'm here under the tab of finance, but we're going to go back to operations, really. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about really has to do more with operations than finance. I gave you this PowerPoint, so you've had it. Hopefully you've been able to look at it. I went over this with you when I first talked about performance contracts and what it might be able to do for us. So I'm going to just read through this real quick. Make us more efficient, reduce deferred maintenance, address and finance facilities needs, provide funding for large projects, positively impact general fund expenditures, allow payback with 512 capital funds, provides an audit of all building systems and identifies biggest needs and savings possibilities. And I want to tell you right up front, we don't get to be more efficient by somebody changing our habits like we did with Synergistic. Okay, it's not like that. We get more efficient by being able to obtain capital from this group. Okay, they help us get capital money to be able to do larger projects than we're able to do right now with the capital money that we have. Okay, so we can get through Snyder Electric and the lenders that they work with, we can get really whatever amount of money we want, and that would come back to you guys. It wouldn't be my call or Dr. Penland's call, it would be your call as to what the projects ended up being, okay? So this wouldn't be any general fund money. This would be all 512 capital money, our bond money, okay? And that would be the only thing. We would get the money from the lenders, we would do the projects, and we would pay the money back through 512. Okay, so it's not changing habits and telling us what we need to do. It's giving us some information and allowing us to choose the projects that we want to do. Now, I will say this ahead of time, there's a cost involved with the audit, but if we do any project with them, we could do a small project with them the audit money would be taken care of, okay? Even if we, even if we had to pay the audit, it would be with 512, but we won't have to if we do anything with them, okay? So it could be as small as we want it to be, okay? Or it could be as large as we want it to be, okay? And again, we being the board will decide, we'll present, if you approve this tonight, we would get an audit done, we would present you with a plan, and then you would say, yay or nay, we need to scale it down, or we can go with this, and we would do it within the confines of what we know we can pay back with the 512 money that we have, okay? So that's kind of the start of it. Here are some possible things. These are savings projects that we might be able to do. We could do LED in the rest of our schools that weren't able to do it. We did some schools with the Duke, that were Duke schools, Duke Power schools. We could do the rest of those. Those would result in energy savings for us, okay? We're doing some of that on our own right now, but we could do it on a larger scale. HVAC replacement, we got a lot of old units in our district that run inefficiently and they break a lot. We could replace a lot of them. Now we're going to replace 16 units this summer ourselves, but we're talking about 100 units or more that we might be able to do with money if we could get capital, okay? That would make us more efficient. LED stadium lights. Now this is not a huge money saver, but it sure would be nice for the community, okay, to have LED lighting at Lawrence Stadium, baseball, softball, football, everything. We could do that through them, save some money, but it would be more, that would be more of just a nice project to be able to do for the community and for our kids and the ones that play. LED outdoor lighting. You know, we have a lot of places where our lighting just isn't as good as it needs to be sometimes for teachers coming in and out of school, kids coming in and out of school early in the mornings, things like that. So people staying at night, coming out into a dark parking lot, we could do something like that. Automated logic and controls for HVAC, where we could control the temperatures in our buildings. We could do more of that. And all of these savings, we could do stuff with water. Okay, they'll look at all of our systems and say, here's what we think maybe you could do, and then we get to talk about what we want to do. Savings positively affect the general fund. Anything we save, back into the general fund, and I think that's what we've been talking about tonight. That's what you guys want. We got to start building up general fund. Okay. Other possible projects, Mr. Carpenter and I talked about at a basketball game and after a basketball game, the need for locker rooms and office renovations in the Lawrence District High School gym. Okay. I think that should be a project that we take on. Okay, to make that more up to date, you know, and better for not only our kids but visitors that come in. All-purpose rooms at Gray Court Owens and Hickory Tavern, really big needs in our district right now. Gray Court, a K-8 school, shares one gym. All the elementary children go in there, all the middle school children go in there, and they have to go in there sometimes at the same time just because of numbers. We need a multi-purpose room, something along the lines of what Waterloo has and what Lawrence Elementary has and what EB has and what Ford has for these two schools. Okay, and we could do a project like that with this. We need to go out to Hickory Tavern, tear down that old gym and put a new.
Do away with that, okay? It needs to be.
Pardon me?
I just wondered if you was going to do away with that old gym in Hickory.
With your help, Mr. Hughes, we'll get that gym
should've been
torn
done
down.
long ago.
Okay, tear it down and build back right there with a new facility. So there's a wide range of possibilities, and this board certainly could say, this is what I think somebody mentioned a while ago, lecture theater. We could do something in the lecture theater, you know, but when you start tearing up all those seats and replacing that, you're talking about some big bucks, okay?
Take out the step outs.
Yeah, and lighted, you know, a lighted walkway down, and maybe not a black stage that you can't see in the dark.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys could say, let's do this or let's do that or suggest whatever. There's a lot of things we could do. So the finance part of this, our capital funds will grow as we pay down the debt on our lead debt. our available money in capital will rise over the next few years. That's fact. Okay, so we'll have more to work with. So growing capital funds allow budgeting of the money to pay back the lender for these projects. So we think, looking at what we have now and what we're going to have, that we'll have plenty of money to make the payment and do what we need to do in capital on a regular basis like we're doing right now. All right? It won't affect the general fund negatively, but projects that lead to savings will help the general fund. That's something we're trying to do all the time. That is something I think we're all devoted to, trying to get that fund balance back up somehow. Okay? Year one payback will be postponed in this. Snyder Electric has told us this. We wouldn't have to pay back the first year, and then the second and third year will be partial payments. So again, during that time, all that time, our capital fund's getting a little bit bigger and allowing us, again, to pay back more easily.
And that
Let me-
year,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, that first bullet there, talking about the lead debt, we have 3 more annual payments left on that payment. So, once we pay them back, this year, and then 2 more, or we already paid this year?
This year we just paid.
Yeah. Then we have 2 more payments after that. Yeah. So, that'll free up, approximately $4 million of, capital that we're paying for that lead debt of where we, did the renovations back in, 2000, or with the addition of Waterloo and, some wings at some of our other schools.
So,
All right, so just to clarify, the line that says the, and my screen is flipped here, the year one payback will be postponed, years 2 and 3 will be partial payments. Is that for each individual project that we take on as we go through the contract period?
and as far as how that's going to look, how many we're going to take on at one time, I think that's for everything. That's for everything that we do.
Okay.
Okay, so we would have to come up with a plan for what jobs we want to do. And then when we finish this, Leanne and I talked to somebody from another school district. When we finish, let's say we do 3 or 4 projects, we finish, we can start again with them if we want to. Okay, so it'd be whatever was in place at that particular time. All right. Again, Ms. London has talked to, and we spoke with a CFO of another district, and that was Lexington, Spartanburg 7, and they, she was very, very pleased with Snyder, thought that we had chosen the very best company to do something like this with, and again, we feel like it'll give us an opportunity to do some things that we just don't have the opportunity to do right now. So tonight we're asking for a vote to go forward, not with a plan, but simply with the audit. We do the audit first, and then we come back to you with, okay, these are what they suggest, this is what we want to do, get advice from you, and come up with some type of plan. So it's several months of action before we get to the point of actually having a plan for projects. So that we need a vote either to go forward with Snyder on this or not.
But really, if we go forward and we do just one project, that 200,000 y'all mentioned, that takes care of that, am I right?
Yes, sir, that's right. That's right. So we can go as small as we want to, or as big as we want to. And we can only go so big because, again, we have to be realistic with what we can pay back. But our capital money, as Dr. Pillen just mentioned, once we pay off all this debt, our capital money will be about double of what we're working with right now. So,
So that last page in your budget that we have is our capital budget, and we basically budget $4 million, but the other $4 million of our bond, of what we receive goes to pay off our lead debt. And so that's what will be freed up will be another $4 million in a couple of years.
So, we've been operating on, we get a lot done with $4 million, and we'll be able to get, if we get to 8 and we're having to pay, let's say we have to pay $1 million of that. If we did something really big and we were paying $1 million, we're still going to be $3 million in capital over what we're operating on right now. And we still got a couple $1 million left this year, between now and September to take us up. So we're in pretty good shape in our 512 account. And again, that's the only finance that we would do. We would borrow and everything would be paid back through capital funding.
And this
That's
is
the-
realized, actual or realized savings, because this would not be us paying a company and a person to run that, like we did with the other projects. So,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really nothing like the synergistic program at all.
So I want to connect some dots here. So performance contracts is a program that Snyder runs. Is that?
They're one of many that run it.
Okay, so performance contracts, is that a term that's used?
It's a savings, it's supposed to be like a guaranteed savings program.
But this is.
But it is, and they can guarantee us some savings in these projects, some of them that we do.
Because, help me understand where those savings are generated from. Or is it because they're doing the work? Or I mean, I'll make sure, Snyder is a construction company, right?
They have.
So they would come in and do an audit of all the projects that needs to happen in the district that they can do. And the idea is, with this contract that we're doing, that not only do they find the projects that need to be done, that we can select which ones we want, but we are going to use Snyder to do those projects.
Not necessarily. We can use Snyder to do them. We can also contract with our own contractors if we want to.
But to do this audit, they've given us a credit, or we either pay somehow they're going to get $250,000 out of this.
They will, but we won't. We're not going to be out of that money unless we just do nothing with them.
With them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm just making sure I understand. So right now, the big benefit is for them to come in and do an audit of our facilities.
Well, I mean, that gives us something to look at, but the attraction is the capital money that they can provide us that we just
So
can't get.
we borrow the money from them?
No, we borrow money from lenders that they set us up with.
Okay, so they've got a list of investors that they share with us, and then we still have to have a relationship with those borrowers?
Through them.
Through them, okay.
They manage this.
Okay.
They manage it.
But we decide which borrowers on their list that we use?
I'm assuming that we'll go with people they suggest. But again, because London will be heavily involved in that side of it, and we'll be looking for the best rate with people that are reputable.
This feels like, to me, the only thing I can come up with is you want to, because my oldest son is looking at buying a house, and he's either going to, he's thinking I'm just going to do it myself without a realtor, but then, with a realtor, it costs money, but there's benefits to that. This is what this feels like.
Oh, yeah.
If that's a good parallel. I'm trying to understand why.
Well, the benefits of this is that they give us the money we need to do the project.
So,
And
for
then-
example, with our our current capital funds, we have $4 million per year. They might be able to free up $20 million immediately. So we could do $20 million worth of renovations or projects.
But we're still borrowing the $20 million.
We would still be
from them.
borrowing.
It's a lender.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we don't use Snyder, that just means that we would have to go and find someone that would be willing to let us borrow $20 million in your example.
Or you would be doing only doing the projects you can afford with the $4 million at a time.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, is there any further discussion or questions? All right, so we will need a motion to move forward with a performance contract audit.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions?
And I just want to, so you personally met with folks at Snyder and you feel comfortable?
Yes, we went through a bid process.
Okay.
And they were the ones we chose. And we've been talking with them. They're just waiting on this to go forward. And again, we talked with Spartanburg District. They were very pleased with them. And I think we got a good recommendation from them.
Rick, did y'all talk to the financial person at Spartanburg 7 or the superintendent? I'm gonna talk to the superintendent.
Lord help us. I'm just kidding.
Huh?
I said, Lord help us. I'm just
No, I
kidding.
mean, I know them, but.
Yeah, I
There you
know,
go.
I know, yeah. Okay, so without any further discussion, all those in favor of approving, moving forward with the performance contract as Dr. Harris has presented, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, now we will need, next up on our agenda is executive session, so
I'll
we'll
make
need a
a motion
motion
for
for that.
executive session.
I'll second.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
work being him. I got to go. see
Okay,
him.
I'm going to go ahead and call us back into session. We do have we do have to vote on a conversation at executive session. We need a motion to approve our certified contract list and our resignation list. We can do them at the same time.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the new contract list and the resignation list.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor of approving the certified contract list and the resignation list, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. With no further business, we are adjourned.
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.